In this video, I'm going to teach you the easiest diet strategy for visceral fat reduction, and I'm going to show you step by step how I do it with all of my clients. And so if you don't know me by now, my name's Adam Bunnell. I'm an online fat loss professional, and I've worked with men around the world from 7 different countries, getting them to elite level body fat compositions. And today I'm going to show you exactly what we do step by step to help you out. So make sure to stick around to the end because I'm going to lay out the strategy for you and so you can see more progress and you can get six-pack lean this summer. And so getting right into the video, the first thing we always want to do when getting into a new program is figure out exactly where your current calorie amount is, right? And so a caloric intake assessment is always needed whenever you want to start going into more of a dieting phase because you need to know exactly where to start. So the truth about it is that your actual metabolic rate or your baseline calories fluctuates based upon what you've already been eating. So if you've been eating 3,500 calories, your maintenance calories is going to be a lot higher than you've been eating 1,800 calories. So it all depends on where you've actually been at. And that's why all these online calculators who tell you how much your caloric amount should be and where your baseline calories are for overall maintenance are typically wrong because they don't know what you've been doing, what you've been eating. They don't know where you're currently at. They don't know what you do for a living. And so that's why these online calculators will give you a vague, rough estimate that aren't maybe really good for you overall. But you need to find out where your actual caloric intake actually is. And so how to do that is just for 3 days, use a simple food tracking system like MyFitnessPal or many of those apps out there and track for 3 days to see how many calories you eat within those 3 days and divide that by 3. And there you go. You have your average caloric amount. So I'm going to actually teach you this step by step on how to get your starting macronutrients first of all, because once you get your starting calories, you need to have a well-balanced diet of protein, carbs, and fats. The reason why these ketogenic and overall carnivore diets, fasting diets don't work is because they're not a well-balanced diet. Go on the internet right now and search what is the best diet out there. It's going to tell you the best diet is a well-balanced diet that doesn't lead to high food restriction and has a lot of flexibility within it. And so the keto diet, carnivore diet, fasting diet that puts a lot of hard food rules on you is going to be hard to sustain because if you make hard food rules, you make hard consequences. So you need a well-balanced diet. A well-balanced diet is going to be a lot easier to maintain. You're not going to have to restrict yourself as much, and it's going to fuel your body properly. So once you get the average caloric amount set for step 1, the next thing I want you to do is find a simple protein goal for yourself. How you find a protein goal, and you guys can pause this video and copy this straight from me. If you've been eating lower than 0.8, then you can start at like 0.8 to either 1 pound per body weight. For starting your fat goal, find your body weight times 0.3, which you get your starting fat goal, and then you backfill the rest of those calories with carbohydrates because you need sufficient carbohydrates for inflammation reduction, adrenal fatigue reduction, and overall fueling your body properly for strength training, muscle building, and overall making sure that we lower that body fat properly. And so, once you get your starting calories, find a protein goal times 1 times your body weight, fat goal times 0.3 times your body weight, and then add those calories up, and the remaining amount of calories, divide that by 4, and you get your grams of carbohydrates per day. And that's a simple way, easy way that you can find your starting calories and macronutrients and make progress this week. Tracking food is the easy part. Tracking food is the easy part. You already know how to do that. But knowing how much protein, carbs, and fats to track, now that's where everybody goes wrong. Because if you don't know how much protein, carbs, and fats you actually need to track, and you're just going on a vague, rough estimate of cutting carbohydrates out of your diet because, the internet told you to, obviously there's going to need to be some type of changes in there. You need some type of customization to what you exactly need based upon your body weight. And so, the reason why these diets like low-carb carnivore don't work because they're not sustainable is because you put hard food rules on yourself. You don't get a sufficient nutrients within your body to actually reduce inflammation and to improve energy levels, to improve your workouts, and it just leads to a overall lack of nutrient availability. And so using this strategy, you'll find your starting macronutrients. I'm 1000% confident within this week you're going to hit a new low weigh-in by just using that simple strategy right there. And so, moving on, how to track those actually correctly. So you want to be able to track your macronutrients between 1 to 3 grams, right? I make my clients within our program, we teach them how to track macronutrients, how to track them within 1 to 3 grams, and so we can become very, very accurate. If you want to see the most amount of progress, you want to be able to track those macronutrients between 1 and 3 grams. So let's say that your protein goal is 200, carb goal is 200, fat goal is 60. You want to be able to track the protein between 1 to 3 grams, the carbs between 1 to 3 grams, and the fat between 1 to 3 grams. And you want to don't even worry about the calories. Like the calories don't really matter. It's the macronutrients because The calories will fluctuate your weight, but macronutrients affect how you look. And the people who watch my channel right now, you guys want to get to a next level physique, get six-pack shredded, and you're not going to do that by just tracking calories. You got to track macronutrients because it's going to give you a specific body composition. And so tracking those macros between 1 to 3 grams will give you a good body composition look. And the more accurate you are, the more consistent you are with that, the better that you're going to look. If you're somebody who's going to track those macronutrients between 1 to 3 grams 5 days a week and 2 days on the weekend, you go out and drink and go out and eat whatever you want, then you're not going to make great progress. That's just the hard truth and the hard reality. But if you want overall better hormones, you want a better hormone production, you want a better look with your body composition, for 7 days straight, track those macros between 1 to 3 grams that you actually got from the formula I actually give you, and you're going to make great progress. You're going to see improvements within your body composition. You're going to make better progress, and you're going to feel a lot better because a well-balanced diet is going to get you there. And you can use flexible dieting with you when you're tracking macronutrients. My clients, they eat cheeseburgers, they eat donuts. We just did a recent interview with a business owner who lost 34 pounds, and he was saying how he's eating Big Macs on the road and still having calories left over. You can do that when you track macronutrients. That's what flexibility is. Well-balanced is flexibility. Flexibility is sustainability. And if you're putting hard foods rules on yourself and you're using that keto diet, that fasting diet for the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th time because you gained the weight back afterwards, I'm guessing needs to be some sort of change, right? So the biggest advice I'd have when you're tracking macronutrients is track a full day of eating the night before so you have a plan to go off of. So sit down in your food tracking app and track the next day, and map that out. Now, exactly how many protein for each meal, how many carbs for each meal, how many fats for each meal, and then hit that 1 to 3 grams because you can't uneat something, but you can plan something out, and so you can eat it in the future and have a plan to go off of. It'll create more sustainability, and you'll be able to adhere to it a lot easier without having to think about everything that you have to do. And so a big thing that I kind of see with a lot of guys who do come to us is the overconsumption on fat and the underconsumption on protein. And it simply just because it comes to like what type of food and type of meat you're actually eating. So like men in general like their steaks, they like their beef, and over time they start to add up in fat. So if overconsumption of fat will lead to improper hormones, lack of digestion, and fat intake was where you get a lot of the proper actual hormones at, with overall fat intake being the main factor, which driving T3, T4 metabolism, thyroid, testosterone, all of that fat as well. So if you overeat on fat, you will have a lack of not only hormone availability but a lack of digestion, and the other side is also occurs. You'll have a lack of digestion and lack of hormone availability if you undereat on fat. So you need to nail that fat goal properly. And fat goal in itself is a very misunderstood macromolecule where not many people know how much fat to track, and people just want to track protein. If you want to get to a next level physique, you need to track fat intake. You need to track carb intake. You need to eat carbohydrates. You need to hit a higher protein goal, because this is what's going to get you the next level physique. And this is coming from somebody who's trained over 150 men in 7 different countries on how to get to a next level physique. And I'm just giving you all this way for free. So try this out, because I promise you, if you stay consistent for 7 days to 14 days, you will see progress. Simpler is always better. A lot of the guys who come to me, they have the discipline, they have the motivation. They're highly qualified individuals who are business owners, managers, CEOs, executives, pilots, ER doctors, and they have the motivation. It's not the motivation for them. It's just the structure, knowing what to do, how much to eat, and what to particularly do, and cut out all the BS that you're seeing on today's society within the internet. But step 3 is very simple. I want you to just strength train 3 to 5 times per weekly, and set a step goal. Right? So with our clients, we set an 8 to 10K step goal per day, which means that even on their off days, they're walking 10K steps. Because one, how fat is actually lost is you have to oxidize the body fat. It's a 2-step process. You have to mobilize it and you have to oxidize it. And steps in general burn 85% more body fat, because steps are going to hyper-target and utilize a slower burning energy source like fat. Right? And so they've even done studies. You can search this. And a zone 1 or zone 2 cardio, like walking, you burn 85% more fat than you do at a strength training, a HIIT cardio, or high intensity athletic training. At a higher intensity athletic training, the higher your heart rate goes, you burn more carbohydrates. And so a lot of guys who do the HIIT training, they do the hard running or like sprints, and they want to lose weight. Well, you're just burning carbohydrates, and you're not even eating carbohydrates. So what you're doing is that now you're just degrading muscle tissue, which is where everybody goes wrong. They try to lose weight, they lose a bunch of weight, but it's 20 pounds of muscle and 20 pounds of fat, right? And so you just look like stuck in the gross skinny fat phase, and you look like you didn't make any sort of a change. change. You need to make sure to like actually maintain muscle tissue, which is why strength training is important, but also steps are important as well for the reduction of body fat, but also to reduce lactate, because steps in general is going to help with recovery. So it's a very simple 3-step process. This is the easiest diet and the easiest way to get six-pack lean on the internet. Find your caloric intake, learn how to track them correctly with 2 to 3 grams, and then set a strength training per week, sessions per week that you hit, and a certain step goal per day. It makes it super simple. And, this is the exact process I use with every single one of my clients. And if you guys think that, like, I give out the sauce on my YouTube channel, imagine what my actual clients do get within our program, right? But like, this is kind of what the process looks like, and you will make great progress doing this. But at some certain point, you have to make some certain change within your macronutrients, right? You have to change those macronutrients based upon the actual progress you're making, because if you're not changing the macronutrients based on the progress you're making, that's why you hit a fat loss plateau, right? Because fat loss plateaus are hit because there's not enough sufficient changes within overall diet in a more correct, sustainable, scientific way, right? Like raising carbohydrates, lowering fat intake, lowering protein intake, and all these 3 other different variables that mean a significant amount with overall body composition. But this will help you make these next steps on making more progress on your fat loss journey. So if you like these type of videos, like, comment, subscribe. If you guys are looking for any type of information and want to see any type of videos, put in the comments below. More than happy to help you guys out as much as I possibly can, because this is what this whole channel is designed to do, is just to help the common guy who needs a little bit of help on his fat loss journey. So make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I'll be posting a new video on Wednesday, so make sure to not miss that video at all. There's be bell notification on. Turn the bell notification on, and then get my video on Wednesday, because it's going to be a banger.